Hey, what's up, guys? It's Road to Funded Trading. This is just basically my journey on where I take you through the process of becoming a funded trader. And we're currently taking the Funded Talent Trading Challenge. And so far, it's going like pretty well. This is week 4. We basically have 3 more days left. So we're actually in a really good position. We're at 7.5%, and the target right now to hit is 8%. This week we had 2 winners, 2 losers, but risk to reward allowed us to end up with 2.1% net profit. So let's hop into my trades. Okay, so Euro USD was our first trade. The first thing we do to get our setups is look at the previous week's direction to determine our direction bias, and we would have been seeing that the market was like trending strongly upwards. So coming into this week, we would have obviously be looking to continue that trend, so we'd have been looking for buys. The second thing we do was look for areas of interest. It's just basically areas where the market has stayed before, so you would be looking for retest of those areas in order to continue the direction bias. So as you can see, coming into the week, the market turned right here. So we would have been looking for a retest of this zone to retest the highs of the like the previous week. So our entry time frame is either the 5 minutes or the 15 minutes. You're seeing various dots on the chart. It's just basically an algorithm that I coded, which helps you pick the turning points of the market. So coming into my trading sessions, which would either be London or New York, this is what I would have been seeing. The market came down and touched the zone that I was interested in and gave me as one of the dots. So basically the next step I would have took was to place a limit order, or a limit buy order, and I would have been targeting the highs, and the stops would have been just below the lows. So basically this would what have happened. Came like really nicely, almost to the area where I was like anticipating. I was anticipating for it to come and just retest the highs, but this was the first loser. It just like eventually reversed and took me out, which was a bit sad because it came like so close to actual profit, but that was the first trade. Okay, our second trade was on Euro USD. So for the previous week, it had like strong movement upwards, but Monday we saw like a strong retracement, and it failed to give us a new high on Tuesday, and the remaining of Tuesday saw a sell-off. And coming into Wednesday, we were anticipating further selling off of Euro USD. So our areas of interest was the previous low created on Monday, because it's an area of reversal, and we saw that there was a low that formed right here. So basically the setup I was looking for was either a retest of this low and then a continued sell-off, or movement or wave like continuation, and then a retest of the low and then a sell-off, like giving us the actual trending pattern to show that we are trending downwards. Because if you look at the previous week, we have the similar pattern of like higher highs and higher lows, but we're looking for the reverse for this week here. So basically this is the setup that I took to give us like our first winner of the week. Basically we were looking for a movement away from this and a retest, or a movement towards this and a rejection. So if we got our dots in one of those setups, then we would have took the trade, and eventually we got the movement away, and then we got one of our dots. So we placed our sell stop below the candle of the dot and stops above the high, and I think we took 2-1. Yeah, 2-1 trade on this. I just let it run because I was anticipating the further movement towards it down, and it took me out really strongly, and I was really happy with the Euro USD trade. So on to the next one. Okay, so the next trade was on Euro CAD. I kind of made a mistake on this, but it's so stupid. I was just like getting to the trade. So coming into this week, it was consolidated for the previous week, but we saw it was making like a strong move upwards coming into Wednesday. So we had a bias to buy, and we were aiming to just retest the highs. So if we got a it was pulling back to this area, so I was just basically looking for a buy to come and retest this. So that's what we were looking for. So coming into New York session, there was also news that it was going to be bad for the CAD. So it was Euro CAD. Then we were looking to buy the CAD versus the Euro dollar. That was our anticipation. So basically, coming into the session, we were looking for one of the dots to appear in the zone, and then we would have like took the trade. We got the dot, but it wasn't in the zone. But we were anticipating a buy, so we end up actually like taking the trade, and we just had the stops above the low because the news for CAD was anticipated to be bad news, and it actually played out, but it took me out before like the news like happened. That's where it took me out. You saw the big drop in the candle right there. It just like spiked me out because that was when the news was released. And then the actual news, actual bad news. And then the market just like shot right back up, shot in the direction I was anticipating, which was like so heartbreaking. So at this point, I'm kind of like annoyed because I just had a 2% trade, and like this trade right here could have like actually helped me, put me in the position to like pass the challenge, but I just wasn't like patient enough. So at this point I would have been break even for the week. So on to our last trade, which put me into the profit. Our last trade was on GBP NZD. Basically this market was raging like for the current, for the week. So it was just basically between like these two zones. So I was looking for either a buy down here to go to the high or sell up here to go to the lows. But what ended up actually happening was I got an aggressive entry like off of the pivots. Yeah, or the daily pivot right here. So basically all I was looking for was like one of my dots to appear off of it, and it actually did. So I just put the buy stop just above it and stops below the low, and I was just gonna let it run into the actual zone because that's where it was ranging between. So basically it just took me out really nicely, and it just came up to the zone and then immediately started to sell off again. So that was basically our last trade of the week, and we're kind of disappointed not to pass the challenge this week because it just made a slight error on the EuroCAD trade. But we have 3 more days to make 0.5%, so let's like accomplish the mission next week. So peace out. Wish you guys the best of luck in your trading journey, and enjoy the rest of your upcoming week.